Back with us on the SportsMax Zone, we continue with our heavy hitting because football's world governing body FIFA, they've lifted the suspension of on the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, the TTFA. The decision, communicated today in a letter to the head of FIFA's normalization committee in TNT, Robert Hadad, paves the way for the Soca Warriors to participate in the CONCACAF Gold Cup and the World Cup qualifiers. On September 24 this year, recall, FIFA indefinitely suspended the TTFA from world football. FIFA said the TTFA had contravened its rules and bylaws by dragging it before a local court instead of taking the dispute to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. We won't bore you with the details, you know it very well. In its letter today, this is what FIFA said. The Bureau, meaning the Bureau of Counsel, decided on November 19, which is today, to lift the suspension of the TTFA with immediate effect. This means all of the TTFA's membership rights have been reinstated as defined in Article 13 of FIFA statutes with immediate effect. As a result, TTFA's representatives and club teams are again entitled to take part in international competitions. The letter goes on to say it also means the TTFA may benefit from development programs, courses and training provided by FIFA and or CONCACAF. Well, joining us now to talk about the reinstatement of TNT's football is the head of FIFA's normalization committee in TNT, Robert Hadad. Robert, welcome to the SportsMax Zone.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, the build-up to this discussion we're having is unlike any that we've had since you took this role. It's always been about problems and solving problems. Yes, we're going to talk about problems, but it's problems of the kind that you would welcome, you'd relish these problems to solve because at least now you have a clear way forward. Let's talk about the present and the future. The past is prologue. It's been dealt with. Robert, from here on in, you have this letter in hand from FIFA. What happens starting Monday morning?
Well, I believe, first of all, let me thank you for all your support and your coverage of this matter because it has kept us all in the loop and keeping everybody in touch with what's going on. It's a big relief to get over all of the problems that we've had to deal with in the past with the battle between the United TTFA and the TTFA and FIFA. And it's a good place to be today that we don't have any of that looming over us anymore. So we believe we have a good grasp of the financial situation at this time, and we are starting to address all of the salary issues as our first priority. And I know that's a big question in everybody's mind. And now it's to start getting the work done. The college celebration I'm hearing about across the board is great that everybody's celebrating that suspension has been lifted in a very short time frame. However, it doesn't take away the debt and the governance issues that we have to deal with. So it's a huge task ahead of us. And I promise you we're going to batten down the hatches and get to work from tomorrow morning.
Importantly, for those who have been owed wages for a long time now, Robert, hearing this announcement, what frame of mind should they go into? What should they be anticipating from here?
Well, first of all, let me just say that we did not, the normalization committee, nor FIFA, did not incur this debt, or this debt was incurred by, I would call it, mismanagement from the past administrations. So we have a huge debt to clear up, and everybody has to be patient. But I think they should celebrate because I am going to be in contact with everybody, and we're going to negotiate and discuss all their claims and come up with payment plans for everybody that they'd be happy with. But we definitely have to sit and negotiate through it because we can't use the money that we have now for football because we have to study current football. We got to get current football back up and running.
Robert, as you say current football, talk to me about the footballers. What happens to them now? Of course, we have Gold Cup to prepare for. We have World Cup to get ready for. When do they start training? What happens?
Well, they thanks to the coach and the team, Terry Fennick has started training. Captain, I keep calling him Captain Gary Griffith. Commissioner Gary Griffith has been very helpful, and the manager Basil Thompson. They have arranged training. They've been training. They started back training last week, so that's a good sign. I've been in contact with Kaleem Highland, the captain, used to be captain. I'm not sure if he's going to be the captain. That'll be a decision for the coaching staff. But and he's representing the players, and they are very excited. We've been working hard at getting back and helping where we can all of the players. Kevin Molino, I know, is on his way back. I know Alvin Jones and Jovin Jones. I'm not sure if they're here as yet, but many of them are on their way back. So we're going to be actively speaking to them from tomorrow, and we're going to work with them to get their payments to them, and most importantly, get them back training and fit as fast as possible.
All right, Robert, let me ask you a question, and this is a serious question. Has the former president of TTFA isolated himself indefinitely by taking FIFA or the normalization committee to the local courts? And is there a way back for him?
I won't be able to answer that. And with all due respect to him, that's a matter for him to decide how he gets back in and what he does. At this time, my focus is to TTFA, the current TTFA, and to get over the problems we are in. I'm not going to speculate on what's his potential way back, and he would have to address that matter.
Yeah. Robert, the issue of marketing, I'm thinking ahead now. I'm talking about marketing and other important committees that need, or subcommittees that need to be put together, and the people that you need to people these committees to really get the hard work started. I know FIFA said in its letter today that there are 2 more appointees, I think, to your committee that are to be made. What's the timeline on getting those bodies in place so that the committee as a group can appoint the committees and staff them appropriately to get the important work done?
My hope is those committee members are, the 2 members of the normalization committee are appointed as soon as possible, because I wouldn't like them having to play catch up with what's going on. With respect to all of the other committees, I have a few names in hand. I actually started the normalization committee, actually had a few discussions with some people, and we are going to actively pursue those now to get them in place as fast as possible.
Right, and finally, the message now to all those who hold a TTFA debt, the message to them now from Monday morning is what? Do you know everybody, every entity that you owe, or those who haven't been spoken to yet, can they come to your office and have a discussion with you? What's the way forward for them?
Well, most of them we've spoken to, we've been speaking to, and many of them have personally been speaking to me. Some of them are court matters, some of them are judgment issues. So we are going to put a committee together to deal with the past debts, and the negotiation of it probably going to be headed by Mr. Romano, and the legal matters are going to be headed by Judy Daniel. So we are going to put different groups of people to deal with different things. But I would just ask them to be patient, because of course we're now coming in. We have to get bank accounts back up and running. We have a lot of work to do, and we have to look at a lot of the national teams don't have national coaches because their tenure expired in August. So we have to look at all the different teams and see who has contracts, who doesn't have contracts, and get football back up and running. And whilst we sit and negotiate these matters with all these people.
Thankful that the fog has lifted, Robert Hadad. You've been through a lot yourself and the committee, and it's very good for us now that we can be focusing on the football and not the sideshow issues which have dominated the discourse around the TTFA over the past several months. All the best to you, and we look forward to some positivity from here on in.
George, thanks a lot for everything that you guys have done. And I'd like to personally thank the Minister of Sport, Sham Fakujo, and the Head of Sport, TT in Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Douglas Camacho, for all the support and discussions we've had. And I know the Commissioner, Gary Griffith, and all of them, they've really worked well with us, and we are looking forward to working with corporate Trinidad and getting everybody back on board. So we look forward to a relationship with you guys. And as usual, I'm going to be available to keep everybody in touch.
Excellent. Good renewal of vows. Thank you very much, Robert Hadad. All the best to you.
Thank you.
Good. As we break, we want to talk about the Bahrain International Trophy, a big race, one of the, perhaps it is the last big flat race that we're carrying on the channel for the rest of the season, because of course the jumps season is upon us. And the Bahrain International Trophy, some top horses. Number 11, Sovereign, Ryan Moore for Aidan O'Brien, will be the anti-post favorite. Global Giant, Frankie Dettori for John Gosden, expected to run well. And the Japanese horse, I'm looking for her there. Well, she was scratched from the event, Deirdre, but the horse to be ridden by Oisin Murphy, Dreamcastle number 5, will also take some beating in the race. Don't forget number 1, Bangkok, Silvestre de Souza, the Brazilian, riding for Andrew Balding from the Wanderers, is expected also to figure prominently in the outcome. At the Track is up next at the Bahrain International Trophy, Friday morning, 7:30, 8:30 EDT on SportsMax. Watch the race live on the Home of Champions.